Hey guys, it's Rachel, and today I have a very special guest, the beautiful Harmony, who is my friend and assistant. And so today we're going to be talking about the Whole30. So I started like 3 weeks before she did. Well, I started and inspired Harmony to start as well.
That is true.
And Harmony is vegetarian, so we're going to speak on that a little bit. But really we wanted to talk about 6 ways that the Whole30 has changed our lives, which I know sounds so extra, but really it is such an interesting program, and I wanted to talk to you guys about all the things that we learned and that really have changed for us since finishing the Whole30. So let's do it. Oh, by the way, Harmony is from Belgium. If you guys don't know, I speak French, and Harmony obviously speaks French is her first language. So if at any time I am lightly correcting her, it is only because she is a beautiful foreigner that we are blessed to have in our beautiful New York City.
Aww.
All right.
Thank you.
So if you guys don't know, Whole30 is a 30-day reset program. It is not considered a diet, although weight loss is a common benefit, I would say, of Whole30. So the goal of Whole30 is to eliminate foods that are known to cause imbalances in the body, allergies, sensitivities. So for 30 days you exclude a lot of stuff from your diet, and in the end you spend time slowly reintroducing those products back into your diet so you can see if certain products were causing you problems in the first place. I feel like I didn't explain it that good.
No, you did a good job. It's what it is.
So that's what it is. And the reintroduction that I just spoke of is a really important component of the Whole30. Honestly, I think it should be called Whole40 almost, because, because you do have to spend at least 10 days after the program reintroducing products and still eating Whole30 most of the time in order to see the effects of the elimination diet, you would say. And when I use the word diet, again, I mean a way of eating. Obviously, the word diet in English can mean 2 different things, so I just mean a way of eating. So, anywho, that is a bit about the Whole30. So, like I said, my boyfriend started before I did. If you guys are interested in more of the backstory of Whole30, I'll link my other Whole30 videos down below. This video is like the end-all, be-all update, final video, I guess you could say. Although, who knows, maybe I'll do more. But the final results. And so, like I said, my boyfriend started it before I did. I was traveling, I came back, he had started the Whole30, and I was like, well, I may as well do it. So Harmony works with me every day, and so obviously she saw me eating Whole30, and I told her about the program, and after some convincing, she decided to do the program with her boyfriend, husband as well. And so we're going to talk about our experiences. I thought it'd be fun to have just a different opinion on everything, and just we're going to talk about the differences that we noticed. We wrote them down so that we would remember. So the first thing we want to talk about is what we eat now. So the ways that we have changed, one of the ways that Whole30 has changed our life is in the way that we eat now. So, you know, I haven't let you talk much, so take it away. How has your eating and your diet changed since Whole30 ended?
I would say that I eat a lot less sugar. Yeah. Because without even knowing it, I was consuming a lot of sugar.
And we talked about that because you had, what, 2 cups of coffee a day?
At least,
with 2 tablespoons of sugar in each cup.
At first, like last year, when I arrived here, I went up to 4 cups of coffee with milk and 2 tablespoons of sugar per day, which I already had cut back to like maybe 2 cups of coffee and 1 tablespoon, but still, I couldn't drink coffee without my sugar. And I was eating like every day cookies, like 1 pack of cookies every day, chocolate, Cokes and everything. So without even knowing it, I was really having a lot of sugar.
Yeah.
And because I would say without knowing it, because I thought, well, you know, my husband cooks every day, so I don't eat junk food. I never go to McDonald's or Burger King or Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm eating healthy.
Yeah.
But you know, hidden sugars too.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. Is that especially compared to the food in Europe, there is so much more sugar. I mean, not to say there's not sugar in foods in Europe, there is, but there are so many more, especially processed sugar and high fructose corn syrup and other other sugar compounds that are hidden in products in the US.
Everywhere.
In ketchup, in mayonnaise, in things that you just really wouldn't think there'd be sugar in. Even like, I was trying to get rotisserie chicken and there was sugar in every rotisserie what sugar?
Yeah.
And it's just an unnecessary amount of sugar. And that is a big part of the Whole30 is they call it taming the sugar dragon, because we become so addicted to sugar in our lives, especially as Americans, and that's really a goal of the food industry, is to, by putting sugar in everything, you become addicted to sugar. And when a big thing with Whole30, and a lot of the reason people quit in the first couple days, is because there's a huge sugar withdrawal.
Oh yeah.
And you have a huge headache. And
a hangover.
A hangover. That's called the hangover. It's like a drug. Sugar is a true drug. So now you're eating less sugar.
Yeah. So yeah, I switched from eating very few fruits to eating like a good amount of fruits, I have to say, and eating way less sugar. And now when I eat something sweet, I feel it more. I'm like, ooh, this is too sweet. Like a glass of Coca-Cola. It is too sugary for me, and I have to put some water in it, which is crazy because I love Coke. Like, I won't say that I was addicted to it, but it was like my favorite drink. Like, if I was craving something, I would have a Coke. And now I'm like, I would rather have sparkling water, or like the fruity sparkling water we have. Yeah, something more
Spindrift.
More light, would say.
Yeah, definitely.
That's the biggest difference, I would say, for me.
Yeah, less sugar. So for me, I feel like my diet changed a lot. So I before was eating, I wouldn't say I was really, I didn't feel like I was eating that unhealthy, kind of like what you were saying. It's like I wasn't eating junk food every day, but I still was eating not great. And it's funny because I started this whole fitness routine, and I was so ready to change my fitness and my work, but I was never really willing to change my diet. And I don't know why. I just was like, well, if I'm gonna work out, I'm gonna get thinner, why do I need to change my diet? And that's the thing about Whole30 that made me realize that food is not just about how much you weigh. And I thought that's kind of the only link I saw between food and your body, I guess. I didn't really see a ton of other, obviously I thought, okay, well, you eat too much and you eat shitty food, then you're gonna be fat. And that was really the only link I saw between food and health. Yeah. But there's so much more, and I can't believe how many things changed in my life and that were clearly linked to food. So for me, what I try and do now is eat at least half of the time paleo / Whole30. And it's a little bit more lax than Whole30, because foods that I didn't have problems with, like beans or small amounts of dairy, I'll still kind of have. But I at least want to have 50% paleo type meals, and I really aim for 75%. So I did the math and I was like, okay, if I eat 16 meals of 21 meals, obviously of a week, Whole30 or paleo, then that's 75%. So especially for me, it's really easy to eat Whole30 breakfast and lunch. So that's already often 14 Whole30 meals. Obviously sometimes on the weekends though, I'll go to brunch or something like that. And so, but that does leave me the dinners to kind of play around a little bit with what I want to eat. But yeah, I mean, for me, it really has changed the way I eat. And before, I never cooked. Just never. And my boyfriend and I never cooked together because he's a vegetarian and I am an omnivore who really enjoys eating meat. And so we would just get fed up and just go out to eat almost every night. And that's another thing. When you go out to eat, you have no idea what you're eating. And I mean, there's a lot of butter and sugar and all the food that we eat, even at good restaurants, the secret ingredient is usually butter.
Oh yeah, definitely. And you never know.
Yeah, and you don't know.
What's inside the kitchen. So,
exactly.
And so I wanted to say something about the whole food changes. Is that some changes are so easy to make. I mean, during that month, we used almond flour. Yeah. And this is so easy to replace regular flour with almond flour, or I don't know, butter with ghee or olive oil, or just dairy with like rice milk or soy milk if you don't have any sensitivities with soy, for example. But some changes are easy to make. It's not like you have to go drastic 1 month and then go back because there are no alternatives.
Right, definitely.
Change things.
Yeah, but rice milk and rice milk and soy milk are not Whole30, but they're.
Oh no.
But yeah, but
they are not dairy.
Exactly.
So this can be
a change afterward.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
And so for me, yeah, it's been a big change in the way I eat, and really the biggest change has been cooking and learning how to cook, learning recipes that I enjoy and that I can eat with my boyfriend on a day-to-day basis. And so we also saved a lot of money that way. Instead of going out and drinking and eating out, we were eating at home. And even though we were spending more money on groceries because we were getting more organic foods and healthy foods, we still in the end did save money. So
yeah,
added benefit.
Totally.
So the second thing is we wanted to talk about what we discovered from the reintroduction. So what sensitivities we found or what foods we did realize were the ones that were causing us or could have been causing us issues before, because that really is, again, the goal of the Whole30. I think a lot of people see the Whole30 as this just like 30-day one and done. But once you do it, you realize that's not what it's about. Because I think, because we were talking about this too, like you kind of imagine that on the 31st day, you're going to want to eat everything. You're just going to want to have sugar and bread. But really, at least for me, when I finished the Whole30, I wanted to continue to eat more or less Whole30 because you feel amazing, amazing. And so then what you do is you slowly start to reintroduce these things that you were not allowed. And for me, I really thought that it was going to be dairy that was what was causing me, especially acne, because that was the thing I noticed the most during Whole30 was my skin cleared up like crazy. It just looked great. And I was like, what food was it? It must have been dairy. And it wasn't, it was gluten. And so realizing that I have a sensitivity to gluten, because as soon as I reintroduced it, I felt not great. And the next day I had a pimple and I was like, fuck, why did it have to be pasta? Because I love pasta so much. And that's not, so now, it's not to say I've cut out gluten entirely from my life. And that's something really important, is that you don't have to you just have to make it, you have the informed decision to make now. So now I know that if I eat gluten, that there can be consequences. Yeah. And so I can make the informed decision to eat it or not. And some days, if it's freaking delicious birthday cake, then I'm gonna have some gluten. But if it's just like making pasta at home and it's not something special, it's just easier than making, something else, then I'm gonna say no. I'd rather spend an extra 20 minutes and make something really healthy that's gonna make me feel great. So really for me, I think sugar and gluten were what I was sensitive to.
Yeah, I think that gluten is a problem for me too. I noticed a radical change in my body after the first few days in the bloating. That it just got away. Like my stomach was flat.
Right.
So that was a big change. And the thing I noticed too was that I had no post-nasal drip, which is something I've been living with for years and years. And I read about it on the Facebook Whole30 group.
Yeah.
And someone was saying, oh, I think that gluten is giving me post-nasal drip. And I was like, oh my God, I don't have it.
Yeah, when you started the Whole30,
yeah, shocking, because I didn't even notice it at first, and I was like, wait a minute. And then when I reintroduced gluten, I noticed directly that it came back, and I was like, well, this is something that I didn't know. This is something that is not fun, but now I know that I can choose, as you were saying. Maybe, well, instead of pasta, I'll use zucchini noodles.
Yeah.
To have the sensation I'm eating pasta, but not really. Or we can try gluten-free pasta.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, we have options. But yeah, it wasn't interesting to notice that and to see that. I think that dairy, I don't feel very well when I'm eating dairy, but I don't eat a lot of dairy. I don't drink cow milk, so that's a plus. But if I eat too much cheese, I won't feel good, and pimples will start to appear too. Yeah. But definitely cutting back on sugar was the best thing for me because I feel like my skin cleared out too.
Yeah.
I don't know what you think. It wasn't glowing like hers. But
during the Whole30?
Yeah, but I noticed the difference. Like,
I think it looked great.
No, but really because, how do you say microkyst?
Like cystic acne.
Yeah, I have a lot of that.
Yeah.
And now, well, I just have one pimple, but it's the first one since the Whole30. So
yeah,
this is a big change for me. And
yeah, cystic pimples are the worst.
So I think that gluten was the biggest surprise for me.
Yeah, I know. I didn't think it was going to be gluten either. I was sure it wasn't, and it was the last thing that I wanted it to be.
Yeah, because it's such a big part of our food.
Yeah.
Like, we eat pasta, we eat rice, we eat, what else?
I mean, bread.
Everything, yeah, bread. Oh my god,
sandwiches.
Bread. Yeah, sandwiches, of course. So yeah, that's
everything. Yeah,
that's a big part for us, but I mean for everyone, I guess.
Oh, yeah. And I think it's interesting too because our food pyramid puts for so long has put grains at the bottom. That's the thing we should eat the most of, and I think so many people have at least some sensitivity to gluten, and I really think that that's something that I thought a lot about was that I think the food pyramid needs to change, and that there are other categories of food like fruits and vegetables that are more important than gluten.
Yeah, definitely.
And a big thing about the Whole30 is that instead of, and one of the reasons that at the beginning you feel so shitty during Whole30 is because your body is like, wait a minute, I was living off of carbohydrates and sugar as my fuel. So you've taken away my fuel. So the first few days you have no energy, you have a headache, but your body starts to re-understand how to process food, and it can fuel itself off of fat and vegetables and fruits and clean foods instead of ends up being quite processed food, which is generally gluten and grains. So yeah, and you have much more. I felt like I had much more energy.
Yeah, definitely. Like I didn't have the feeling of being like tired after eating, like we all often have. I felt more energized, less foggy. Weirdly, I didn't have that hangover. That the famous hangover. My husband had it for like 4 days. It was terrible. Like really, really like he had a big hangover from a big party.
Yeah.
It was incredible because I ate more sugar than him.
Yeah, that's true.
He was more affected. Yeah. So it's like everybody is different.
Yeah.
But I felt pumped. I was like, woo, woo, like literally coming to work dancing, and it was not that I'm not coming dancing usually, but no, it was a big difference. And I would say the end of the winter, it's always hard.
Yeah.
Spring is not there yet, was not there yet, and this just gave us like a kick.
Yeah, definitely.
And was very good for the energy. Yeah,
I agree. So the third thing that I definitely think is life-changing about the Whole30 and was for me was just having more confidence, and that yes is definitely linked to the fact that you lose weight, you change your body composition, and for me I didn't lose a ton of weight. I only lost about 2 pounds, but I lost a ton of inches and my body definitely looked different. There wasn't any bloating. It just, I mean, you guys, I'll show you the before and after, but you could just tell that I was in better shape and I was killing it at the gym. So that just, I think overall I just had so much more confidence, and just knowing that you can do something like that gives you a ton of confidence. So I think that was life-changing, and it has persisted even after the Whole30, as I do feel more confident in myself, in my body, in my decision-making, in kind of so many different aspects of my life. I feel strong and super confident.
Yeah, definitely. Me too. Because I put on weight when I moved to New York, about 5 kilograms. I don't know how much.
10 pounds
10,
maybe?
12 pounds maybe, I don't know. And you could say, I don't think it was very noticeable, but, pants are too tight, and you can see like the muffin top, and my stomach was big compared to before, and my face was more round, and I was like, every day you wake up and you're like, well, but I'm someone who has like very low willpower, very few willpower.
Yeah, very little willpower.
Yeah. And so I was like, well, I put on weight and that's it. But with the Whole30, you can see your body changing and literally the body feeling better itself.
Yeah.
And looking better. And I didn't lose a ton of weight either. I lost maybe about 5 pounds.
Oh, it's closer to 8.
Really? I don't know. It's
how many kilograms?
3 kilograms.
Alexa, how many pounds is 3 kilograms?
3 kilograms is 6.6 pounds.
6.5 pounds.
6.5 pounds. But yeah, I mean, it was just the excess
that
I had. But still, at the end of the month, I take my before and my after pictures, and I'm like, what? I didn't even know I had back rolls. I was like, what? What is that? And it disappeared, and you feel so proud and so confident because you're like, I mean, you can be confident at any weight.
Of course.
But I knew that it wasn't my optimal weight, my optimal body. And I got back to my like wedding weight, and I was so happy because I felt proud and I felt more confident. And yeah, no, that was a very good thing for my body and the mind too.
Yeah, I know. I think it's not just about being confident because you weigh less. I think it's so many things together. I think that you feel more comfortable in your own skin because you're eating better, you're looking your best, and you really feel like when you're in your Whole30, you just kind of feel like the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
Because you have energy, you look better, you feel better, your skin looks great. A lot of people say that their hair and nails are stronger. It wasn't something I super noticed, but just like you're just like your best version of yourself. And that's something I've tried to carry on with, like just continuing to remind myself, but just knowing what you can do and being proud of your success.
Yeah, it's only positive.
Definitely.
Or no downsides. Yeah, downsides to that. Because the better you feel, the better you will be in your life, in your everyday life, and in your skin, and in your head, and
everywhere.
Career, and with your friends.
Totally. I love it.
Yeah.
All right, what's the next one? You read it.
What would you say? Mental control? Or?
Oh, yeah. So the next one we wanted to talk about was after the Whole30, you just have more control over, definitely over what you eat, and I think that's where it stems from, is just you can choose, because now you know what is good for you, you know how your body's going to react to different types of food, and so you kind of feel like you have more control over your eating, and it really just kind of, like we were saying, it just kind of spirals out to all these different parts of your life, and you just feel more in control of your body, you feel more in control of your mind. We talked about during the Whole30, you know, your memory is better, you can concentrate more easily, and it's really all linked to food. It's wild to me. Even to this day, I still am like, man, I was really believing that, you know, the only link for food and body was weight. And I was wrong. But yeah, what do you think?
No, I feel the same, because I didn't realize that sugar was making me so foggy. Would you say foggy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had difficulties to focus on my work, or just like I'm the type of person who will literally forget 3 seconds after you tell me something, like or maybe the info wasn't coming to my brain. I was like, what? And I mean, I'm not dumb. I don't think I'm dumb. So it was really something about my concentration levels. And I don't know, I wasn't focused even on the moment. I was always, I don't know, like somewhere else. And I feel like with the Whole30 and the good food, it helps you being more aware, more present, maybe. And less, I don't know, less foggy and elsewhere, like you cannot concentrate. I experienced that, and the energy is so much better.
Yeah, definitely. I think that that's a huge benefit of the Whole30 and of eating clean, is just having more energy and all day. I mean, from right when you wake up, you're like, let's do this. And all throughout the day. And I think that you don't have that 4 o'clock slump that we all have so often, which the 4 o'clock slump, what does it do? It just makes us have coffee or more food, and I mean, it's a negative cycle when we, especially I think, and something that I think a lot of people say, a lot of people that don't eat breakfast or eat really very small breakfast, one thing the Whole30 actually tells you to do is to have a big breakfast. And a lot of people think that that's really hard, but giving yourself that fuel in the morning, that clean fuel, and not having bread or cereal, having eggs, having protein, having fat for your body to run off for the rest of the day, or even just having some fruit energy, and having natural sugar as opposed to processed sugar first thing is really great. And that's something for me now. It's pretty rare that I have a breakfast that isn't Whole30, where my whole life I ate cereal for breakfast, and I mean every day. And so that was like the only thing that I had for breakfast usually was cereal. And I did start having almond milk or non-dairy milk, but even still, I think just having sugar and grains in the morning was a bad way to start the day. Yeah. And now I feel more alert, and definitely having fat and protein in the morning has been a lot better for me overall.
Oh yeah, definitely. I was doing the same too. I've been eating cereals and maybe bread with, Nutella, or even cookies, as I was doing here. Every day, and it's, do you say fast sugar?
Yeah, it's like rapid sugar.
Yeah, rapid sugar. So you have a kick of energy just right away, and then you feel like you're going to sleep, and that's what happened for every meal for a lot of people. After every meal, you want to sleep, you want to have a little nap, and with the Whole30, with every all the fruits and vegetables, and I mean even the meat, it's good energy for you. It was a big difference, but a good one, and the energy. I'm missing that. Yeah, I went back to Whole30 breakfast too. Yeah, because I was missing that healthy / filling breakfast. Yeah.
And even for me, you guys are gonna be surprised, but I don't have coffee anymore. I mean, to me, coffee, I will have it as like a treat. I literally see it as a treat. Like on Sunday, I had coffee with cream and sugar, and it was like a treat. You know what I mean?
Like a little cake.
Like a little cake. So instead of having coffee, I'll have breakfast tea in the morning with a little bit of coconut creamer, and some days nothing. And I think that can be attributed to, I think a lot of the reason we crave coffee in the morning is the energy level. And so now it's not as much of an issue for me. And that's not to say that's a thing for everyone. I mean, my boyfriend certainly is never going to quit coffee. He loves coffee.
Yeah, but he drinks it black.
But he does drink it black. But still, to speak to the energy levels, I think.
Oh, yeah. But it's true that in the book, the creator says that if you don't like coffee without cow milk and sugar, it's because you don't like coffee. It's because you like the taste of sugar. And that's true that for me, we were talking about my 4 cups of coffee with milk and sugar per day. I never drank coffee before I turned 25. And when I got to New York, I went straight to Starbucks and I was like, let's try coffee. Yeah. But like a big latte with lots of sugar. And so that's when I started drinking coffee, and it was like spiraling into this. I'm drinking coffee now, but it really is for the sugar. And lately, no, not lately, a few days ago, I thought, well, I'm gonna try to put 1 spoon of sugar in my coffee again, and it was too much. And it's again a good thing to see that you are detoxifying your body from the sugar. And now, how do you say that? Contrairement à? Contrary to you?
Oh yeah.
Contrary to Rachel, I learned that I love the real taste of coffee. Yeah. I still don't drink it black, like black, but I put way less milk and no sugar, and that's a big change. Yeah, but a good one.
Yeah, that was something that I thought was really funny in the book. She talks about coffee, and if you just are putting a bunch of milk and sugar, then you just like milk and sugar, and that was definitely me. And I really just don't think I like the taste of coffee, and that's okay. So,
yeah, you don't have to drink it.
Yeah.
That's good. Number 5, food freedom.
So number 5 is food freedom, which is the concept of life post Whole30. It's the subject of this book, so Food Freedom Forever, which is written by Melissa Hartwig, the co-founder of Whole30. And so what I love is that Whole30, there's so many, if you want to say diets or different plans, and it's just like 30 days or 60 days or however many days, and then when it's done, it's just over. And the good thing about Whole30 is that there is such a plan for the after, that so many different, I keep saying diets, although of course it's not technically a diet, but just kind of a guide to what's next. And so obviously there's the reintroduction, but then what? Because then all of a sudden you go from being so strict with what you eat to literally having freedom. And what the book is about is how after you're done with Whole30, now you have the knowledge, you've learned from the Whole30 what foods suit you, what foods maybe make you feel bad or cause you pain or acne or allergies. There's so many different, that's what I was so surprised by, is I just thought, well, either you're allergic to something or you're not. Yeah. But there's so many things in between in terms of food. Little, and when you read the Facebook page, because millions of people are doing the Whole30, and so people are sharing their stories, and they say that, you know, their back pain is gone, or their diabetes is just totally over.
Swelling.
Yeah.
Reduced.
Swelling, bloating, I mean, so many different things. The goal of Food Freedom Forever is to not only to give you empowerment to really decide what you want to eat based on the knowledge you learned from Whole30, but to end the cycle of emotional eating and guilt that comes with food. And this is something that we've talked about a lot, because ever since we're young, oftentimes we're trained to see food as a reward or almost as like a punishment in a way. So as a reward, we see it as, okay, well, you know, you did great on this test. Great job. You got all A's this semester, so let's go get pizza. And so we see it as a reward. But also sometimes we have this guilt around eating. So it's such a vicious cycle, because what happens is we're in a bad mood, we feel down, we're depressed, and so we immediately look for comfort food. But then as soon as we eat that food, that's often the worst type of food that we can eat. We feel bad because it doesn't, I mean, eating an entire cake in one sitting because you feel bad is not going to make you feel good. Then you have so much guilt and you just feel worse. And so then you're more depressed and you want to eat more bad things, and it's such a cycle that's really hard to break, and it's hard to kind of remove your emotions from eating. And that's not to say you can't still find pleasure and joy in cooking and eating, but at the same time realizing that food is not something to see as a reward or as a punishment. It's just food. And the best thing we can do is feed ourselves great food, and if we want something, eat it. But obviously now we have the knowledge to understand the consequences that could come with that type of eating.
Yeah, and I feel like with the Whole30, you think more, you eat less impulsively.
Yeah.
Instead of jumping on certain foods, you're gonna say or think, wait a minute, is it because I'm hungry? Is it because I'm feeling down? Why do I want this food? If it's okay, I'm just craving a donut, I just want a donut, well, okay, just eat it. I mean, it won't kill you. But if it's, oh, my day was so bad, I had a fight with my boyfriend, I'll just, I don't know, eat a whole jar of Ben & Jerry's. Then that's not good, because as we're saying, you're gonna feel bad and even worse afterwards. And this is this is something I would never think about. Like, I said, like I kept on saying, I'm an emotional eater. I am like that. I have to control myself, but I know that I have trouble doing so because I am an emotional eater. When I'm feeling down, some people don't eat, I eat. You know, I was always...
I am too, or stress eater, for example.
Oh yeah, stress, my god, I eat so much when I am stressed. Because, and I was like kind of jealous of people who would lose weight.
Yeah, who don't eat,
I'm so stressed, I've lost 2 kilograms, like
I've
gained 3.
Totally.
But this is a big change too, because now you kind of like make distance.
Yeah, take a step back
and you think, and you're like, okay, let's calm down, let's think for a minute, and then either it goes away or you really want that food and it's okay, you can indulge.
But and you can indulge without the guilt.
Yeah.
Because that's the big thing, that we put so much pressure on ourselves about what we eat sometimes, and we give and whereas like, look, if you want it and you thought about it, you decided you're going to eat it, you can eat it.
Yeah, yeah. As you were saying, you make an informed decision. You know what is at stake, I would say.
Yeah, sure.
What will be the consequences?
Yeah, I will have a steak. That does sound good.
And then you think, okay, I'll eat it or not. That might be the real freedom.
That is. So that's the goal. That's what she considers food freedom, is to remove yourself from the guilt, from the emotional eating, from the mindless snacking. And it's just about mindfulness. And so making these decisions with some thought, you know, and for so long we don't really do that. When it comes to food, we're led by our heart and not our brain. And so that's really the goal, is to try and be a little bit more mindful when it comes to food.
Yeah, totally.
And I think that it's something too, I think so often we are like, oh, you know, I want to eat better. And so we just make this like decision, I'm going to eat better. And we think that that's going to change something. But the problem is that what's great about Whole30 is it's so strict that it really forces you to make a change. Whereas, and she talks about this in the book, where, you know, we all say from time to time, I want to eat better.
Oh yeah, I want to be healthy.
I want to be healthy. What, you know, as humans, we really do need to give ourselves some, and while Whole30 is really extreme, it's what I personally think works, because I've so many times in my life said, oh, I'm going to eat healthier. And this 30 days was the only time that I think I really achieved that and have these benefits after the fact.
Yeah, yeah, because it is so strict, you're like, okay, I don't want to cheat, I don't want to take a step on the side.
Yeah, yeah.
And
you don't
then
want to fail.
Yeah, you don't want to fail, and then you see the results and you're like, well, I just needed a little discipline and like a program, really, with rules and everything that I can follow, and now I see the benefits. But if you just say, oh, I want to eat healthier, and you're like, oh, I'll just eat my drinks, and then poof, that's all. But you keep on the sugar and alcohol and everything, you don't see the benefits.
Definitely.
Like in the Whole30, I would say.
Yeah. So if you guys are interested in learning more about, if you've done Whole30 or you're interested more in food freedom, what food freedom is, I really do recommend this book. If you're going to do the Whole30, I would start with the Whole30 book, because that book also has recipes. But the Food Freedom Forever has been great for me, because after the Whole30, I was feeling a little bit lost, because I wanted to keep doing Whole30, but I obviously realized it wasn't sustainable forever, and it's not supposed to be. And that's something important to say, that you can't do Whole30 for the rest of. I mean, you could, I guess, but I mean,
some people are doing a whole 100 or
and even still though, I think it has limitations. And even Melissa, who is the co-founder, says all the time that she doesn't do Whole30 all the time. It's a reset, it's a detox, but it really gives a lot of suggestions for what's next after Whole30, and a lot of strategies for stress relieving or emotional eating, and different ways to address these things, because after Whole30 they can really come back. And how to tame your sugar dragon.
Yep.
Which isn't easy, but that's the biggest thing, how surprising it was that after Whole30, just the craving for sugar was so different.
Yeah, yeah. Not that it's gone, not that you're not interested in sweet things anymore, but it's just that you feel like, oh yeah, I'll have it, but I'm not gonna jump on this plate.
Yeah, like, or you were just like, no. I mean, even now, there's been times I'm like, it looks great, it's right in front of me, but that's not what I want right now.
Yeah, the craving is not so intense.
Yeah.
Or maybe sometimes it's gone altogether.
Exactly. And you can just make up your mind. It's all about making up your own mind about what you want. So yeah.
So wise.
All right. So the last thing that I think has really changed my life with Whole30 is just being more conscious about food, about the culture of food, about food in America, and unfortunately how full of sugar and crap it is. And so for me, like I said before, and not that everyone is like this, but I kind of thought that the idea that food or eating better could kind of cure you in a way, or change different problems in your life, I thought that was total bullshit. And it's so funny because in any other way, it makes sense. Like you put, you know, shitty old batteries in a remote control and the remote control doesn't work, or it works not very well, kind of spotty. But the idea to me that everything that you are what you eat, I never believed in that. And I know that's kind of, people are like, well, it's obvious, but I just didn't, and I really just didn't, and I cannot believe how much doing Whole30 has changed my opinion on that. And that's not to say I don't believe in medicine anymore, because I mean, I still do think that there are things that medicine can cure, but I really do wish that I was more aware of how much of an impact what you eat makes on your body besides just your weight. And so it's caused me to be more interested in a lot of things that I just had no interest in before. So started watching more documentaries about the food industry, about food, about cooking. There's a couple I would love to recommend that I watched on Netflix: Magic Pill, Fed Up, and the show Cooked. There was one, the whole series is great, but there was one episode in particular that really focused on the food industry and how even in places like India, which was really a place where people cooked at home forever, and even in the last decade have really cooked at home, but how the fast food industry has started to ruin that, and how unfortunately how linked poverty is to obesity, to diabetes. And in America, it's really sad that to eat clean, good food is so expensive, and then that obviously leads to, you know, why make a salad that's going to cost your family X amount when you could just go to Burger King or McDonald's and get everyone food, and then that causes obesity, diabetes, all these things. And with the way our health insurance is, they can't afford it. It's just, sorry, it's like literally making me mad right now.
No, I understand. And as an European, it's different for me, because the health system and even the food are different.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's making us mad too, because the gap is so important between what the rich can afford and what the poor cannot afford, and the choices they have. Yeah. And as you were saying, like, it's cheaper to get a burger than a salad, or to get a Coke than a bottle of water. I mean, I was so shocked by the price of water here. And I know New York is expensive, but still, I mean, water shouldn't cost more than a few cents. And it's like $2-3 a bottle, and you're like, what? And the Coke is cheaper. So yeah, of course, people will, not always, but if you don't have money, you will choose the cheaper
option.
Yeah, but it is interesting to be aware of that. And I feel like with the Whole30, you have to look for every ingredient. Like everything you buy, you have to check the labels. And this is something that not a lot of people do, I think. Like, who checks every label to see if there is sugar or something non-compliant? And now we have that, it's like a reflex.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
Oh, I'm gonna check if there's added sugar. Yeah. Because we know that it is not necessary. So if there is a version, because I didn't tell you that already, but I told my mother about that program, and she lives in Belgium, and she had like canned beets and maybe peaches in a can too, and it was the same brand, but one was without added sugar and one was with, and it was sugar in the beets, and she didn't understand. She was like, why is there sugar? And it was like, because it's a preservative.
Yeah.
And they put sugar everywhere, and she was so shocked. And even so, it's not only in America, even in Belgium, even in France, in ham, in ketchup, in mayonnaise, and what else did we say? Rotisserie chicken. Everywhere there is sugar everywhere. So now we kind of know we have to check the labels, and so that we can buy better, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's a good thing.
No, absolutely.
This is thanks to Whole30.
Yeah, because I like I said, I never looked at labels, and if I looked at a label, the only thing I looked at was calories.
Yeah,
and I think something that we didn't even talk about, but like Whole30, you're not even allowed to count calories during Whole30. It's specifically prohibited and can really affect your results, actually, because it's actually, and I found you kind of eat more You eat more food. You eat because you eat more of good foods, but you still often lose weight, change your body composition through that process. And so I'm really glad that I moved away from looking at calories. Now I look at the ingredients, because that's more important. For example, an avocado has a lot of calories, but it has so much good healthy fat, and that our bodies can really run off of much longer than a complex carbohydrate.
Yeah, more people should be aware of that, because how often do you hear that if you are on a diet, if you want to lose weight, you should not eat bananas? Oh yeah, because there is too much sugar in it. And I'm like, are you kidding me? It's a fruit. Yeah, eat your fruits. Yeah, and like avocados, it's I don't have words. People will say, no, it's okay to eat French fries, but don't eat bananas.
Yeah, exactly. Especially, and I think the problem with diets is that you count the calories, you restrict the calories so much, and then it often just leads to binging because you're so hungry, and so you fail. Yeah. Whereas Whole30, not to say people don't fail, people you can easily get upset and have to start over or just bail on the program, but you shouldn't be that hungry. I mean, you can eat a lot, and that was something that was so surprising to me, is that I felt like every day I was eating more, and yet I was still losing inches and looking better, being less bloated. And so it's not about eating less sometimes, it's about eating better.
Yeah, definitely. Because we say that it's very difficult, that it's restrictive, but really not in terms of quantity, because you can eat as much as you want, just not the prohibited.
Yeah, exactly. And it is recommended to not snack. It's recommended to eat 3 big meals, and to have a meal, to understand that a meal should actually satiate you. And that was something that I think was really interesting to kind of see through the program. Yeah. And at the beginning, of course, you're hungry because your body's adjusting from sugar and living off of carbohydrates, and so you can snack and have some snacks, but you do kind of learn how to let a meal satiate you through the process. I don't know, did you find that in the end? Because I know you.
Yeah, I mean, since I was a child, I was used to snack like forever, and at 4 p.m. I have to have my little goûter.
Yeah,
my little
snack time.
Snack time.
That's what I was talking about, the 4 o'clock slump.
And so I was so used to it. Like, even if I wasn't hungry, I would eat. And now, I mean, time goes by, I'm like, oh, it's already 5, and I didn't think about it. That is good.
6:08, in fact.
I don't want my snack. No, but that is good, because
it's almost dinner time.
True. What are you gonna eat today? Whole30 approved? Or
no, I'm going to dinner tonight.
Without me.
Food freedom forever, my friends.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. But no, that's a good thing to see, that you have less craving. Yeah, overall, I would say. Definitely. So less craving for a snack too.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys have any questions about Whole30, we will be responding to all of you guys in the comments down below. And special thanks to the lovely Harmony for coming to be on this channel.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!
Bye!